Superman, the original superhero, the living embodiment of peace, hope, and justice. For generations, this character has been an inspiration and an icon to people all around the world, acting as a helping hand to reach out and tell them that they are capable of greatness. And now, for just one low payment of $69.99, you get to fucking kill him. Hi everybody, my name is Troy, I've got a Baja Blast, and I want to talk about why I am so sick of evil Superman. This video is brought to you by Adventure Capitalist. More about them at the end of the video. So I am a massive Superman fan. I feel like Clark Kent is perhaps the most important and special character within the mythos of Western culture. However, it feels like the character has been misrepresented as of late. I'm of course talking about the growing number of evil Superman stories. It feels like every other month we get some kind of comic or game or TV show or movie or fucking like a board game. I'm sure there's a board game about this where the big blue Boy Scout is an evil supervillain. Whether it be mind control or red kryptonite or Superman just losing his way and becoming a genocidal maniac, as one does. I mean, it happens to everybody. Or even parody characters with the same powers and origins. You can't deny that the number of evil Superman stories is becoming greater and greater. Now you might be asking, what's wrong with evil Superman? It's a unique way of shifting the status quo and taking this invincible hero that normally saves the day and turning him into somebody that has to be stopped. But the problem I have with evil Superman isn't necessarily with the stories themselves. There are plenty of really great stories where Superman is the antagonist, which I'll talk about in a bit, but it's the fact that there's just so goddamn many of them. It feels like for every traditional Superman piece of media where he saves a cat from a tree, we get 3 more where he wants to take over the world and fucking punch your grandma. And frankly, the trope has lost all of its impact and has become like a stale cash grab that does nothing but further damage the reputation of this incredible character. And it'd be one thing if these stories handled the topic well, but normally the evil Superman trope is nothing more than a way for corporations to say, Superman is lame, let's make him cool. Which is incredibly frustrating because Superman is already cool. Superman is the coolest guy around. It also kind of feels insulting to the character's origins, to constantly see this character depicted as a genocidal maniac. This character, who was the first depiction of the modern superhero, was created by 2 amazing Jewish men in the 1930s, and is a pretty explicit allegory for Moses. And so when half the time we see him, he wants to take over the world and create a regime, usually with the help of faceless armored soldiers that wear uncomfortably similar red armbands as they torture civilians, it makes me kind of uncomfortable. There's also this trope within the evil Superman trope, where Clark's downfall is motivated, at least initially, by the death of Lois Lane. Now, I love the Lois Lane character. I think she's part of the reason why Superman has stood the test of time for so long. Since amidst all the action and power and aliens and science fiction and fucking dying and coming back to life and a cyborg that's just a knockoff Reed Richards, Superman is effectively a love story. However, this trope where Superman goes on a murderous rampage after the death of Lois tends to dehumanize Clark, and it makes him seem more alien and distant, which is the direct opposite of what I think makes him special. Now, the death of a loved one is perhaps one of the most painful and heartbreaking experiences someone can endure, and I would never expect Clark to remain the same happy-go-lucky farm boy if he lost Lois. God knows I'd be a wreck if I lost the love of my life. But I also wouldn't become a space fascist because of it. I'm not saying this is always bad, because clearly it can be interesting sometimes, but that snap in morality just isn't natural, and it isn't human. And despite being from another world, Clark Kent is the most human of all of us. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't any good evil Superman stories. Good evil Superman story. I think the Injustice comics actually did a really great job of it. Tom Taylor is an absolute legend for those books. He took a story that was designed for a 2013 Netherrealm fighting game campaign, you know, not exactly the most nuanced thing in the world, and he turned it into this beautiful analysis of Clark Kent as a character and this overarching saga about the DC universe. It's fucking amazing. He depicts Clark's slow fall from grace and the reasons behind his descent, motivated not only by the death of Lois, but also by the goal of saving everyone, which slowly grows and turns into a lust for power. I'd even say my problems with the Injustice comic, which are mostly towards the end, were mainly just limitations that were set up in the original game. The game was good for its time, especially for a fighting game, but the comic just absolutely elevates the whole story to another level, to the point where the sequel, Injustice 2, just kind of relied on the comic's events, and it still really worked. Wait, hang on. What does that say? Oh, fuck! I think Injustice demonstrates the main thing that I think every evil Superman story needs to have for me, personally, to enjoy it. At the end of the day, The writer needs to love Superman. The best stories are commentaries about what Superman is as a character, and to properly do that, one has to already understand and love what he represents. Not an insult or a mockery, but a love letter. I actually think, surprisingly, The Boys TV show is another really good example of this. The comic is a whole other story, but the show makes it clear that Homelander doesn't exist to poke fun at Superman, but instead to provide a commentary about him. What if Superman was raised in captivity, or without the loving embrace of his parents? Is it power that turns men cruel, or is it their upbringing? For a show where the entire theme is every superhero is a corporate asshole, using the genre as social commentary, I think it works really well, and it doesn't feel mean-spirited the way that a lot of other ones do. At least not at the time of recording this. I'm running out of Baja Blast because I had to record this video like 4 times. This is heartbreaking. Now you're probably thinking, but Troy, you love That has an evil Superman. What makes that any different? I'm going to talk spoilers for Invincible Season 1 really quick. Skip to this time code if you don't want any of those. But you'd be absolutely right. I do love Invincible. I love Invincible a lot. I really like it. Feel free to check out my video about it. But here's the thing. Invincible isn't actually an evil Superman story. It has all the makings of one. Omni-Man is very clearly supposed to be a parody of the character, down to the cape and the origin and the powers and the knockoff Justice League and everything, right? But actually, the way I see it, in the story, Omni-Man isn't Superman. Invincible is. Nolan didn't grow up on Earth, Mark did. And it was that upbringing, that childhood, that life on Earth that made Mark into the person that he is, and it's the reason that he fights against his father, and it's the reason that he continues to protect his planet. At least that's just the way I see it. I also haven't finished the comic yet, so who fucking knows? Maybe I'm a total idiot. I also partially understand relying on the Superman trope for something like Smallville, which had to make 217 episodes. Jesus fucking Christ! A lot of Smallville episodes tend to rely on something like red kryptonite or mind control to push certain narrative points and elements and add a bit of drama. And it's definitely been tiring during my rewatch of the show. Video on that coming soon, be sure to subscribe. But network TV shows often don't have a ton of time to flesh out a story perfectly, and those individual episodes where Clark is quote-unquote evil are surrounded by 21 other episodes per season where Clark is more or less trying to do the right thing. But regardless of how well done some of these depictions can be of the trope, it feels like for every good one of these stories, we get 5 more that say nothing other than evil Superman is scary, ooh, he's got big red laser eyes, he's scary, and Batman's gonna come beat him up. And I'm just getting really tired of it. The reason that I think we're getting so many of these stories is because of how the general public sees Superman. To many people, Superman is boring. He's unkillable and he's a Boy Scout, and so the only way to make him interesting is to make him a murderous villain. And this just isn't true. I could go on for years about why Superman is so great. It's the story of a man who was saved from his dying planet after its government refused to listen to scientists, and he has to grapple with this insane amount of godlike power. But thanks to being raised by the 2 literal greatest people on the planet, he chooses to use it responsibly. If that's boring to you, then I don't know what to tell you. Because that's literally the basis of every single one of your favorite superheroes. Characters like Captain Marvel and Thor and Spider-Man and Captain America are all household names at this point, mostly in part due to the success of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which has been praised for the quality of its characters. Superman is just all of them! He's just them! He's got the strength of Captain Marvel, and he's from space, he's a god like Thor, he's fucking cool as hell like Spider-Man, he's relatable and he's human, and he's nice like he's Captain America. DC and Warner Brothers have been sitting on an absolute powerhouse, no pun intended, of a property, and they're refusing to do anything interesting with it. Now listen, I'm not trying to shit on any writers or trash any writers that have worked on or are working on something with an evil Superman archetype. And if you enjoy these types of stories, then hell yeah, more power to you, that's totally cool. Just my reaction to seeing something get announced with an evil Superman is the same as my reaction whenever somebody makes a tweet about how Batman should use his money on infrastructure and stop beating up poor people. It's like, I'm over it. Like, it's exhausting, it doesn't get the character, and I'm tired of it. I think the reason that I get so frustrated with these types of stories is because there's just so much more potential for Superman today. And the mindset that he has to be evil to be relevant is just so close-minded to anybody who knows the character even a little bit. So this video has been pretty negative so far, and I don't like making negative videos, especially on Superman, so I kind of want to end this on a little bit of hope. because there are Superman stories out there and coming out that are doing something really special with the character and not using him as a villain or a trope. The new animated series looks like it could be a ton of fun. Tom Taylor's new run with John as Superman is probably going to be one of the best comics ever made. I think Ta-Nehisi Coates is going to do something really, really special with his movie. And Superman and Lois is directly addressing the evil Superman trope with the plot of its first season, which I think is really, really cool. I genuinely believe that the character of Superman is timeless and has the capability to be beloved by a whole new generation of people. Not by trying to reinvent the character or by trying to make him cool or modern, but by focusing on what makes him special, since that's truly something that everyone can relate to and that will never grow old. But that can't be done when half the times we're reminded of him, we're told that he's an uncontrollable god that has to be stopped by fucking Batman. And I love Batman. I quite like Batman. Batman's a great character. He's very cool. But he's got nothing on Superman. Nothing. And if the corporations that own this character are really so blind that they can't see the limitless potential of this cultural icon, then maybe it's time for Superman to be in the public domain. But that's a whole other conversation. And now it's time for a sponsor. This video has been brought to you by Adventure Capitalist. All right, listen, I get it. I get the irony of this sponsor. I'm the infamous billionaire guy, the socialist, the communist, the Marxist, whatever you want to call me, the leftist. Leftist is what you should call me. Get your jokes out now. It's funny. Ha ha ha. Leave your comments. All right. Because this game, it's pretty fucking fun. AdCap is a game where you start from nothing, selling lemonade from a lemonade stand, and eventually you build up your empire, buying different companies from banks to movie studios to oil companies, Jesus Christ, and you earn a frankly absurd amount of money. The money may not be real, but watching that number go up is just as satisfying as the real thing. And real life currency is just a social construct anyway, so what's the difference? The game is really good for when you're doing something else in the background. Basically, since you can't lose, it's really good as like a second screen game. I've been rewatching Smallville, as I will tell everybody I've ever met all the time, and this game has been a really good partner for that disturbingly long show at 217 episodes! Adventure Capitalist is actually celebrating their 6-year anniversary this year, which is really impressive for a mobile game. They're still around and going strong, and you can join them in the celebration with special rewards for the next 6 weeks, like back-to-back limited events, a party hat giveaway, special store sales and bundles, and 6 free time warps for Time Warp Wednesday. What's really cool is there's actually an upcoming docuseries about the game's development. Apparently the game had a really storied beginning with the studio on the brink of going under, and now they've come back on the other side with over 50 million players. So if you want to fulfill your lifelong dream of having more money than should be ethically owned by a single individual, but you weren't born to the son of an emerald miner and you don't want to suffer the real world consequences, check out Adventure Capitalist using the link in the description. But with that said, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you to Adventure Capitalist for sponsoring my content. If you like what I do here, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you want to stick around. It really does help out the channel. If you like this video, you might like my pitch of the J.J. Abrams Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman movie coming up, and my original pitch for a story called Clark, which features Tom Hanks as an older Superman. Special thanks to Cassidy Bond, Ghost Rebel 100, Lord Corb, and Jonah for being spectacular fanboys on my Patreon. Your support really means everything to me. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This has been TroyBoy17 coming at you live. Happy Pride Month to all my LGBTQ+ followers. I know Pride Month is basically over, but I just wanted to say you're valid and you're loved, and hopefully this channel and this community can serve as a safe space for you to be yourself and express the things that you love. Remember to be responsible, everybody. I am out of Baja Blast, and I'll see you around.